everyone, is Sharonda from Pay or Wait. So today, the time is finally here. Big Little Lies Season 2, baby. Y'all, this show gave me all my life tonight. Like, seriously, I thought Claus was going to be the show to give me all of my life with the shade and the pettiness. But baby, Meryl Streep, she had a word for us today. She came and blessed all of our souls with this shade that she gave from the first scene to the last scene. Yes, okay. Yeah. Give her all the awards, okay? Give her all the awards because she deserves them. Okay, she did that this episode. So I'm sorry, y'all. It took me way longer to watch this episode. And don't think I didn't notice this. Y'all only gave us a 45-minute episode. So I'm going to need you to run me that 15 minutes back next week. But, I had to stop. Because there was so much shade being thrown, I had to just pause and laugh. Because it was coming at me all directions. I was just like, y'all did not come to play with this season opener. So I'm doing, sorry y'all, I didn't even do my normal, I'm doing Big Little Lies Season 2, Episode 1. What have they done? And baby, they have done a lot of shade, a lot of craziness, and I was here for all of it. So the season opens up, and Celeste is having a nightmare about Perry. And so she's having a nightmare, I guess, about everything that's taking place, but she turns into this monster, and then she turns into this monster, beating up Perry or whatnot. So she's still dealing with the trauma of him abusing her, but also to his death now. And so she wakes up because Mary Louise comes to her hey, you guys are overslept. The kids have to go to school. She's like, I'm so sorry. And then she was like, you said rape in your sleep. I said, Celeste, don't be getting caught up in your little dreams talking about rape and stuff, telling on y'all. So Mary Louise is kind of looking at her crazy already. And so we get to the first day of school, and Madeline is Owen. So Madeline, I was talking to her husband, Ed, and he was just like, why are you so tense? What is going on? She's like, it's the first day of school. We have to earn our good mom badges back. Guys can just show up and they'd be like, oh my God, look at the dad. He's at school. He's such a good parent. But we actually have to earn our stuff, and it resets every single school year. And so we see that the parents are looking at them funny. We see all the women come together, say hi as they're dropping their kids off. And people are kind of staring at them, judging them because Perry did die at the school fundraiser. So our first shade MVP'd, okay, comes from Warren, the school principal. So they did an assembly. They made all these parents sing this otter song. I just we spent way too much money for you to be wasting my time having me in here singing this dang old song. You just better make sure that my kids are educated and that they're smart and they go to good schools. And so after the service, after the assembly, Madeline walks up to Warren and says, that was such a great service. And he was like, service, it was more of an assembly. And then he was like, actually, a better example of a service would be the school fundraiser, because people just end up dead there. And I was like, Madeline was like, oh, so we're taking it there today? I said, Madeline, girl, I think he is taking it there today. And so then Madeline's offered a cupcake. She's like, yes, I'm going to take one for each thigh. I just love to shove these down my mouth. And she was like, you know what? You should offer Warren one too so he can shove it. I was like, Madeline, you don't never disappoint, girl. Just too much. I love that whole banter back and forth between Warren. It really just lets you know, people are sick of Madeline, of them. He feels that Madeline was the cause of all the craziness that happened last year. And so he's just like, ugh, what a great way to start the year. Got to deal with these crazy moms yet again. And so Nathan is worried about Bonnie because she's been very withdrawn. She's not being normal. The girls are also starting to worry about her. And we see later in the episode that when Bonnie is running, she can't get the images of what happened out of her head. And so she's really dealing with what happened to Perry pretty bad, because she's really the most free-spirited, very happy, very optimistic about life. And she's really the opposite at this point. And her husband, Nathan, is worried about her. And so worried about her so much to the point where he goes to Ed and asks Ed, can he talk to his wife? And I'm like, excuse me? Ed was sitting there like, sir, why do you want me, the husband of your ex-wife, to go talk to your new wife? Obviously, the problem is you. And then that's when he called him a snide F word. And then I was just like, you know what? just when I was starting to think that maybe y'all became friends over the summer somehow, we clearly see that that's not what happened. And so Nathan just walked off. He was like, I'm done with you. This is why I don't mess with you. So we see that Renata is being all crazy, talking to their fine teacher. I was like, hey, teacher. Hey, cutie. I wish I had some kids so you could teach my kids and then I could see you. Okay, I'm sorry. But she's just being crazy. Like, my daughter has like a high IQ. She's genius level. Don't forget that she was bullied and we ain't having that this year. And I was just like, girl, let the teacher live. Like, it's the first day. Just be easy for a moment. And so we see that Madeline runs into Mary Louise, y'all. So she runs to Mary Louise. She's like, hey, how you doing? And then she was like, I can't complain. And then you know how we go through the motions just saying something because that's what normal people say. And she was like, you know what, girl, actually, you know what? I can complain. And then Madeline was like, why? And she's like, Beesh, my son dead. That ain't what she said. But I was like, Beesh, her son dead. Like, why you being all chipper asking her like, oh, hey, girl, how's it going? And I know your son is dead, but how's life going outside of that? And so she was just like, she told her like, I'm so sorry. She was just like, she's like, you're little. And she was like, what? And I was like, huh? And then she was just like, I'm sorry. I just find little people untrustworthy. I was like, she did not just say that to this girl. That was when I really had to pause. That was the second time I had to pause and just be like, hold up. She really just said she finds little people untrustworthy. And I was just dead. And it was just too much for me. And so then she tells her like, I really wish I could ask you the truth about what happened to my son. But I know I wouldn't get it. And she was like, well, he slipped and fell. And she was like, that seems to be the company line. Like, that seems to be what you hosts basically decided that was going to be the story. And you're sticking to it. And so Madeline was just like, I can't believe this woman just talks to me like this. Like, I understand what you going through, but like, she's like complaining about this to Celeste. And then we see that Celeste goes to therapy because she's still having issues. She's having these nightmares, and the therapist says, well, you haven't been coming here this entire time. And so she tells her like what happens in the nightmares. And she talks about how she feels bad because if she would have left him sooner, he would have never been dead. And so her therapist was just like, and the message continues to live on. Like, you're still letting him psychologically abuse you and he's not even on this earth anymore. And so you really need to understand that you had nothing to do with his death and you need to find a way to move forward. You're still married to a person that's not here, that's dead, and you need to figure out how to start your new life in any way that you possibly can. And so we see that Jane is working at this aquarium, and then she sees there's a new little cutie. I can't remember his name, but I watched him on I think it was called Big Love. Yes. I think it was called Big Love. Yes, he was on Big Love. He was on some other stuff, but that's what I first knew him from. And so we see that they have like this discussion. He sees her on the beach later in the episode, and he's just like, girl, you can't be dancing crazy like that because parents are going to want you around their kids. And then he was like, aren't you like a part of the Monterey Five? And then she's like, what? Excuse me? So people been talking about them. And then they have like this meeting. And, they're just like, you know what? People say it's dying down. We ain't got to worry about it. And it was like, girl, yes, we do. Like, that's not okay. But can we talk about Madeline real quick and how, so we see in the beginning of the episode, they're just like, Bonnie tells her, like, you've been selling houses like crazy. But then we cut to like her showing a house and the people's like, hey, can we, she's like, I'm on the phone. I'm on the phone. She was being so disrespectful. And I was just like, girl, how are you selling houses and you this disrespectful? I just didn't understand that. But then actually, I skipped that for right now because I really need to dive down deep into that. So Renata's doing a photo shoot for this women in power issue, and she was just like, I don't want to do the same little women pose in their boring suits and stuff like that. She's like, I'm gonna look good. They playing that song, this is my house and I live in it. I know that's probably not how the song go, but it's whatever. Gordon looked like he going through something because he was drunk as hell. I was like, sir, it's like the middle of the day. Why are you like so drunk like this playing with your trains? But baby, can we talk about when Madeline sees Mary Louise at the office, the real estate office? I guess she's going back into work. And so she sees her talking to this agent. She was like, hey, Mary Louise. And then she was like, oh, you wearing heels today. Like, Beesh, I see you listen to what I had to say about short people. And so Celeste was just like, not Celeste, Madeline was just like, Mary girl, Mary Louise. look, I know you're going through a tough time right now, and I'm so sorry that your son died, but I gotta tell you that what you said to me, you was mad disrespectful. And then Marilyn was like, you know what, man, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it like that, girl. I just brought up some trauma of this college roommate I had, and she was just doing all these little evil things to me, and she was like a little thing, just like you, vapid on the inside, and you know, you're a big bubbly person. You remind me just of her. I was like, wait a minute. She just said this girl was vapid inside. She already told her before that she was like a wanter. Like, she's not someone who's content with their life. They just want more. And I was just like, Mary, you were doing too much. But I'm here for all of this. I didn't expect to get all this shade this episode. And so Madeline just looking like, you know what, girl? Go ahead, sir. Help her, because I don't even want the commission for all of this. It's not even worth the trouble at this point. So we see that Bonnie doesn't show up to the meeting that the ladies are having after Jane is called the Monterey Five, and she tells the other women. So Madeline goes to see Bonnie to see like what is going on with her, and she was just like you guys weren't here for me. You know, she's like, you're in Lake Tahoe. Like, what was I supposed to do? Like, text you like, hey, how are you doing now that we killed this person? She was just like, there was nothing that we could do. And so she's like, well, do you really care about me? She was like, of course. And so then Nathan comes out like, hey, what's going on? And then Bonnie's just like, bye, Maddie. And then Madeline apologizes to Nathan because they had a meeting about Abigail going to college or getting into a good college. Abigail decides to drop a bomb on them like, I'm not going to college. I don't want to go to college. I don't want to go. I don't. That's what you want me to do, but you're not going to project what you want me to do because you didn't get to go to college. You're not going to project that on me. So she got mad at Nathan, and she had hit Nathan, and so she was apologizing to Nathan like, hey, I'm sorry for hitting you. And so then she goes to talk to Abigail, and she asks Abigail, so like, obviously, if you're not going to college, what is your plan B? What are you trying to do? What did you come up with? She said she wants to work for a startup company. Like, there's homeless people in them. I was like, I don't give a fuck about the homeless people. I said, wait, this is another moment when I had to pause it because this girl literally just said, I don't give a F about the homeless people. I died. Even Abigail was looking at her like, girl, what is wrong with you? And I was just like, Madeline, you got to chill, B. You got to chill. And so she tells her like, I didn't go to college. No, she's like, don't be saying that to me just because you didn't go to college. She's like, right, exactly. That's exactly my point. Because I ain't got no life now because I didn't go to college. And I don't want that for you. And then she storms out. She mad. She slammed the door. I was just like, you know what? It's just too much going on. It's too much. So Celeste and Jane, they end up having a drink at the little around the fire or whatever restaurant they're at. And so Celeste is asking her, like, why haven't you been cashing the checks from Perry's estate? She was like, it's rape money. And she was like, you know, your son is entitled to that money. And so she was just like, you don't hate me just a little bit for sleeping with your husband? She was like, no. She's like, but I knew he was married. Like, I didn't know he was married to you. And she was like, that stuff doesn't matter at this point. And so we see that Celeste goes home. Louise cooks dinner for the kids. And can we talk about how bad these damn little kids are? They sit up there yelling at people and then yelled at her in the beginning of the episode. And then Louise had to tell them, you respect your mother. I was like, they need to get their ass beat. That's basically what needs to happen because they out of order. They out of line. That's probably how they little badass daddy acted when he was little. I bet that's exactly how he acted. And so they're having dinner, and then, you know, Celeste was like, thank you so much for cooking. She's like, well, they can't eat fast food every night. She's like, we don't eat fast food every night. Louise looking at her like, bitch, what? Yes, y'all are. And so she starts talking about how good of a father Perry was, like how good of a son. Then when she threw these shades, like said she got angry because she was hanging out with her friends and they were talking about their bald, raggedy, middle management kids. I was like, girl, you just don't stop with the shade. So your friends get the shade too? It was too much. And she was like, you know, I just wanted to scream. And so she was like, you know what? It's okay to scream. We're going to scream right now. Baby, when she did that scream, the kids was looking at her like, Celeste looked like, I was like, Mary, why you screaming like that, scaring these damn kids? You done gave me a damn heart attack and I'm just watching the damn show. So she let out a scream. She told her to chill. Like, just, you're doing too much, Mary Louise. You're doing too much, girl. And so we see that Celeste goes to sleep. She's dreaming again. She's having these nightmares again. And then we see that they're in a lineup and, you know, the detective says, hey, which one was it? And then we see Perry walk out of the shadow. And then she was like, I will fucking kill you. And then she like charges towards the window. Then she wakes up like, I will fucking kill you. And I was like, girl, you finna snitch on everybody, including yourself. You gotta stop with all of this. Mary Louise comes and finds her. She hugs her. And then she was just like, so who we planning to kill? And then the episode go off. I said, you know what, y'all? We don't deserve Meryl. We don't deserve her. We really don't. She's just amazing. Just everything that I didn't know I needed. But like, she gives me so much more than what I thought I needed from her, what I thought I was going to get from her. I'm excited about this first edition into Big Little Lies. I love the path that is going down. Obviously, Mary Louise wants to be close in Monterey, not only to check on her grandsons, but to really get down to the nitty gritty of what happened to her son. She knows that they're lying. Their husband's looking at them crazy, like, what is happening with all of them? So I just can't wait to see all of this unravel. But now it makes sense, judging by the interaction between Madeline and Mary Louise this episode, which is why we saw this. Remember this that we saw when basically the first photos emerged with Meryl Streep of her Reese throwing a ice cream cone at her. So now it makes sense. And yes, I did have to go ahead and get this on a shirt because I was just so happy for Big Little Lies to return. So those are my thoughts. I'm happy with this first addition to the episode. And also too, shout out because y'all be killing it with the music. But I love this first episode. I can't wait to see where the season is going. Make sure y'all run me my extra 15 minutes back for next episode to make up for this episode. So those are my thoughts on Big Little Lies Season 2 premiere, Episode 1. What have they done? As always, my name is Sharonda from Pay Your Weights. And if you like what you saw today, make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe, share this video with your friends, and make sure you hit that notification bell. And I love you guys 3000. I'll see you soon.